Good afternoon. My name is Raymond Skinner, and I'm Chairman of the Board of Commissioners for DCHA, DC Housing Authority, and I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is a regular monthly meeting of the District of Columbia Housing Authority. It's being held today, April the 8th, 2026. This meeting is being held via Zoom video conferencing, and some of the board members are here in person. At this time, I would like to ask for a moment of silence to allow for personal reflections. Thank you. The Board of Commissioners welcomes public input on issues or concerns and offers you today an opportunity to express your views during the public testimony portion of this meeting. However, we require that members of the public who attend our meetings abide by certain rules of decorum to allow the board to complete its business. For this virtual meeting, DCHA asks that you remain muted until you are instructed to speak. We do appreciate your interest in the matters before us today, and I want to thank you in advance for abiding by these rules of conduct. For the record, I want to acknowledge that we are operating today under DC Law L26-0080, otherwise known as the Rental Act. I would also note that we are still in sort of a transition before we can fully comply with the act, and we will have some new board members appointed or some of our current board members reappointed over the next couple of months. So meanwhile, as of today, we have 8 members on the commission, 7 voting members, but the law says that we have 5 voting members will constitute a quorum. So at this time, I would ask for a roll call to determine if we have a quorum.
Sure. Denise Blackson.
Present.
Thank you. Rosa Burbridge. Star 6 to unmute. I can come back. Leroy Clay.
Present.
Jim Dickerson.
Present.
Thank you. Chris Murphy.
Present.
Thank you. Jennifer Reed. Teresa Silla.
Present.
Thank you. I'm going to go back to Rosa Burbridge. And Chairman Raymond Skinner.
Here.
You have a quorum.
At 5. So at this time, I'd like the commissioners to consider the minutes of the March 11th, 2026 board meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes for March 11th, 2026.
Motion.
Second? Second.
Second.
All say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the minutes stand approved as presented. Next, we're going to have the executive director's report, and today we're going to have Deputy Executive Director Nicole Wycliffe.
Thank you, Chairman. All right. So again, in the executive summary, we put the same information, update our occupancies. So on the property management side, our occupancy stays around the same. Just to point to some of that, our lease units has slightly decreased, but many of our vacant units now are being held to be rehabbed. Either they're IRB, which are some of the bond properties that are going offline that we will not fill at this time as we get those units rehabbed. So when you start seeing the change in those numbers, that's due to that going offline. Also on our property management operation side, every month, Commissioner Blackson holds a block by block. It's well attended for our resident councils. the staff. So thank you, Commissioner Blackson and all our resident leaders that come, and to the DCHA staff. At that time, we hear from our resident councils, who hear from the residents that tell them any things that we need to know, or questions to our team. And also it allows the team to present some information out. So last month, Carolyn, on the Director of Property Management Operations, did a great job of talking through work orders. So again, I'd just like to thank Commissioner Blackson, Commissioner Sela was also there, and our resident council leaders and staff for attending those monthly block by blocks to stay interactive and understand what's going on at the properties. Talk a little bit about our IRB first tranche properties, so our bond properties, our first set of 9 properties. We're glad to say there's meetings already scheduled for the individual properties happening over this month of April. So notices, if they haven't gone out, I believe they've gone out to many of those residents. We're happy to say that many of our development consultant teams are now on board for the first tranche. So these meetings are going to be meetings to introduce those individuals, also hear from the residents. So this is the time that you let us know what you want to see at your property, some needs. And then together as a team, we'll start figuring out what the final scope of work will be. In addition, I know we've talked about some of the Section 18 properties that have approval. Those meetings are not yet set for some of those properties. We're hopefully going to get to those in the next month or two, but our team will reach out to at least resident councils and at the block by block talk about those. Those we're not ready to talk through yet. It's over a year ago that we submitted those applications. That took HUD a little time. So as we know, market conditions, funding levels coming from HUD, many of those items have changed. So we have to just go back to not to the drawing board, but just go back and start looking at numbers to understand what we can do and timelines on those properties. But we are definitely continuing pushing forward on those, and we'll be having resident meetings on those in the next coming months. For our second tranche of IRB properties, very similar. We'll be starting on those slightly after we start probably construction on the IRB first set of tranche. So probably toward the end of the year, end of calendar year, 26, we should start having meetings with those set of properties too, and just brainstorming. So start thinking through, of course, for those residents of those properties, what you want to see at your properties.
Nicole, so for I think especially the first group, could you just name what those properties are if you have them listed?
Yes, I should have them memorized, so somebody's gonna have to help me out. Jump out here in here. First 9, jump in.
Yeah, sure.
Karen, go ahead.
Claridge, Sibley, Syfax Gardens, James Creek, James Apartments.
Lincoln Heights,
Lincoln Heights.
Hopkins, and Fort Lincoln.
Yep.
Fort Lincoln.
And also just to add, Judiciary is not an IRB, but they are one property that we're also working on as well. It was in the second tranche of IRB, but we feel like those will be able to go bonds and credits. But that's also one that we're working on, but you may not see that in the IRB tranche. Thank you, you all. And I had them here, but I just couldn't find those numbers. All right. Also, some great news. Every year we have to report to HUD on Section 3 figures. So our coordinator, Sarat Black, put some figures together, which was great, which we submitted to HUD. And these are her words quoted. Glad to see that Section 3 efforts from last year to date have resulted in increased resident participation across multiple contracts, with contractors successfully engaging and hiring Section 3 workers. And also we have exceeded the labor hours. So just to say, we don't report as much. I saw on the board book that we may not report that. We haven't highlighted that, but that's huge to say that our Section 3 participation is definitely working. We've hired many residents. Labor hours are up. So thank you to that team for reporting on that.
Nicole, what about resident-owned businesses? I know that's come up at a couple of meetings.
And
where
that falls
there
into
was
the section
concern.
3 as well.
Right,
So
yeah.
section 3 resident-owned businesses, hiring of residents and so on and so forth. So all that falls into that category.
Oh, that's good. right?
Yes, everything is up.
Up
Everything
is
is
up.
up.
Okay,
Increase. So, I mean, we're just, with the IRBs coming on board and more opportunities coming for these contractors to be working, it should do nothing but increase. Also glad to say I saw the OPAC team put out yesterday on our DCHA website that now we have some materials on there for public housing, voucher, and how you will sign up for Rent Cafe. So the guides are up there. Hopefully we'll have some videos to come, but that is now on our website. And we'll be continuously adding different type of materials, training videos to our website. So thank you to Allison and team on that. On the voucher side of the house, we have posted the proposed regulations for the local rent supplement program. So those are out there. Of course, you have 30 days from the time posted. We've shared with DHS. DHS has shared with other partners, but mainly a lot of this is coming from either regulation changes or from the roundtables that happen amongst all the partners, DCHA, DHS, our advocacy groups, and other local providers. I'm hearing from them to reduce the timeline, take out some of the details that the federal program requires, but local doesn't. So please review that, get your comments into us. And again, that is posted, the local rent supplement program proposed regulations. Also, just to add, as you know, we're starting to look and prepare for our calendar year fiscal year 27 budget. We have saw some stuff come out from different advocacy groups about 27 also being a rough year in cuts from HUD. That is out there. So again, it's all proposed, so it has to get through Congress, but we learned this year, we got hit pretty hard with that December letter that said we would not be getting any increases to our budget and also a 1% reduction to the budget, although we have fully leased up, worked on property units to get them back online. So we will be preparing to start working on our fiscal year 27 budgets and just continuing to work through fiscal year 26 with those big changes that came from HUD with that did not include any additional funding. However, our grants director is looking at many grant opportunities. We did put in for the Job Plus grant, which again helps residents for jobs. We haven't heard back that from HUD yet. We're hoping May or June, but we're just going to continue to look at grant opportunities, put our applications in, and help pick up in that area for residents, construction, and whatever we need for the authority that we're seeing taken away from the HUD cuts. And I think that's all I have right now. 702 office. Just a quick update on that. We will be opening that office back for appointments around April 20th. Staff will be back next week. So thank you for the patience. But that office will be back in service on the 20th to the public.
And it's going to be a little different from what it was?
It is going to be a little different. So the Shanita and team, thank you all. They have looked to make our second floor more open space to allow for walk-ins and customers and clients to be able to sit down and have more meeting areas. We moved staff around slightly to other floors so that second floor can really be purposed to serve the public that's coming in.
So,
Anything else, Deb?
yeah, will this resolve? Because at one point we were getting feedback that people were lining up outside in the cold, and especially for people experiencing homelessness who are coming to process their LRSP vouchers. that was a really big challenge. So this is actually an effort to accommodate people inside.
Definitely.
It is.
Okay.
So
So,
you have capacity, you know, you don't,
Okay.
can still have so many people in the building, but
Okay,
yeah, so the way it was designed initially, we were having 8 sections that
Okay.
people can come in and have appointments and have that one-on-one. With this time, we've been able to kind of modify that, and we're now increasing it to 26.
okay,
So we should not have people outside in line.
okay,
They should have their appointment, their time, and they should
Okay.
be seeing their specialist at that appointed time.
okay. And that's a huge increase to go from 8 slots to like being able to accommodate
Mhm.
26. So
yes,
very appreciative of that update. Thank you.
that's all I have.
Any questions, any of the commissioners online, any questions for the ED? Commissioner Murphy?
You know me. I have a couple quickies. First, first of all, the monthly update was really strong, and I just really want to thank the team. And in particular, I thought the capital projects section, which is where I was mostly focused, was just really thorough, and I want to appreciate the staff for that. There was a mention of, for the 9RB projects, that I think 7 of them had met the obsolescence requirement. And I wondered if it was still 7 or if we'd been able to make any progress on the other 2.
So, sure, Erin Wilson with the development department. So there's 2 out of the first 9 that have disposition approvals. Are you talking about all 18?
No, I was just talking about the first 9, and I was really just talking about, yeah, the book referred to 7 having met the obsolescence requirement. I just wondered if the other 2.
Maybe.
Yeah,
So I think Commissioner Murphy, it's 2 sets. So the 9 IRB, we put in RAD applications. There were at least 2 out of those 9 that we had already put Section 18 applications in and have approval.
Okay.
So generally, when that happens, HUD will allow us to keep both. We weigh the options to see which one is gonna net the most revenue for the property to allow us to do more. So we're still looking at that, but most likely, we'll push forward, bless you, on the RAD route versus the obsolescence ones on the 2 that are a part of the first tranche IRB.
Okay, so it might be worth somebody taking a look at that language. It might just need a little bit of an update then. I'm wondering if it's a little dated. Because what you said makes sense, Nicole. I just think that's a little different than what was in the report. 2 more quickies. I saw that the zoning commission was being asked to approve the extension on Kenilworth in late March. I don't know if they took a vote on that, or do they give you any sense of whether that PUD is going to be extended?
Yes, that was approved.
That's great. Congrats. And then the last one is just a thank you. I noted the continued work on the Melvo properties and breaking them out into sort of the Evo and the M&L cluster. And it just was great to see that you guys have stayed focused on trying to find a way forward there. So thank you. That's all from me.
Any other questions from any of the commissioners who are virtual? I can't see all of you, but I don't see.
No other questions. This Commissioner Blackson, I just want to commend on being able to see 26 residents versus the 8 at the HCBP program.
That's huge.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Nicole. We'll hear from you a little later again. But we want to move on to our next agenda item, which is public testimony. And as usual, we will start with residents. And each person has 3 minutes to provide their testimony, and you can talk about the resolutions or any other issues or concerns you have with DCHA.
Okay, first we have Lakia Abdul Rahman, and I hope I'm saying that correctly, or Rahami. But Lakia. Okay, I'm going to move forward. Next, we have Paulette Matthews. Ms. Matthews, we see that you're on. We're sending you a promotion request. *6 to unmute yourself once you accept that request.
Hello, everybody. How y'all doing?
Yeah, hi, Ms.
Can
Matthews.
y'all hear me?
We can.
Okay. First of all, I would like to request that we get our 5 minutes back, and I'm gonna be jumping off the wall like a ping pong ball because I got so many things that I want to say, but not enough time. I want to first thank the DCHA staff for coming out to a meeting that I had for the residents to be able to talk to the DCHA staff, and a lot of people got things accomplished, and they're working with them. So I want to say thank you guys for coming out and the fact that you came out on the Saturday. And then far-wise, it's a block by block. It was kind of similar to that, but not as detailed as Ms. Blackston's be. But I kind of got the idea from her, and because the residents are forever asking questions, and I can't answer them all. And I'm thankful to be able to have people's numbers that I can call and talk to them directly. Keith, I'm going to miss you, but I'm going to see you before you leave. I want to talk about the laundry area, and we've already discussed it, and they're already working on it, but it's just now, I guess they have to get permits or the money or whatever. But I recall, because I'm a member of Empower DC, and I was advocating and coming around all the properties before I actually moved over here. So the people been promised something for a minute, and it hasn't taken place. I'm just trying to figure out why they always hold our foot to the fire 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days to do something required to give to y'all. But DCHA, sorry to say, can take a long period of time to do things. And then there's another issue with me far-wise as when the workers come out to check the property or whatever, come out to do the work, nobody checks behind them. And I just recently had a headache behind that, but it's been resolved. Thank you, Ms. Davis, and all the other staff that helped me out along the way. Then there's the illegal dumping. Okay, pretty much the people who have these side jobs, they know when DCHA closes, and I know that they go around to all different kind of properties through public housing, just dropping off their stuff. But it's sad because all these years they got signs behind it, but they don't have enough staff to monitor that part, so they get away with what they get away with all the time. And that doesn't make sense because it overflows our trash cans. And there's so much more I want to say, but I don't have enough time to say it. So I'm just going to stop right there, but I hope that they can get the washers and dryers permit, which they're working on. There was also a such thing as an alley project that I don't understand what happened to that. I guess it went out the window or somebody didn't drop the ball. But I know I had reached out to the Ward 1 council person because it's been like hits and runs in this alley since I've been here. They fly through here like it's a street. I was asking about temporary speed bumps so they can slow it down some. We do have kids in the alleys, trying to get here or there, or myself. And something needs to be done to that for our public safety as well. I can't touch public safety right now because I don't have enough time. I'm not looking at the clock, but Joshua will be.
Yep,
Okay.
thank you.
Thanks.
Oh,
Matt.
and I want to update on Bury Farms. Even though I hadn't talked to Maya in a minute, but I know she's going to start sending out letters. They used to send letters. They stopped. They used to have meetings for the former residents. They stopped, but she told me that she's going to get something together.
Okay, and we'll make sure that we follow up and the staff will be involved. And Ms. Matthews, you know how to reach us. I know you're not afraid to call people.
Stop what you doing.
Thank you so much.
Oh boy.
So next we have Teresa Johnson. Teresa Johnson. Okay, I'm going to move forward. Next, we have Aquarius Van Gossary. And as a reminder, it's *6 to unmute. We do have some that have called in. Aquarius Van Gossary. Let me go back to Teresa Johnson. Okay, I'm gonna move forward. Ken Council. Ken Council, *6 to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Yes,
Good
yes.
afternoon. Um, I'm hoping everyone that's listening and in the room, we need to go into receivership because the things that are happening now, the ED is getting ready to leave. There's funding that's missing. You all have been pushing back of having a forensic audit being done. This is crazy. Last month, I've asked for someone to get me in touch with the new interim person. That has not happened yet. I've asked you all to get with the citywide advisory board that's up and running for us to go over what you all are putting out on the properties, talking to the residents and what you're going to do. The funding of these 9 sites that you're trying, do you have funding in hand that's literally in the bucket before you start moving these residents out? This is absolutely crazy. Even with the election coming up, Hamra, Cabrera, and I'm quite sure General Counsel, which is Amy, whoever it is that's over the voting thing, the way that you all have done, you're saying that you can't come back unless you're 9 months or 9 years away from the board. What agency has that? Even the mayor's office doesn't even have that a person to stay away before they can come back. So I don't know what type of game you all are playing, but 24 CFR does not state that, does not have that, does not follow that. The board is divided twice, 2 times. The mayor appoints and you're voted in by your peers. 9 years apart, that's absolutely ludicrous. So you all need to fix that. But I need you to check 24 CFR. That's not in there for that to go that way. But on a good note, I had an issue in my own unit and an excellent job has been done. The agency that came in my house and did everything properly was very accommodating. His name is Alex, and he's a mediator for mold and lead. They did an exceptional job. I'm quite sure y'all shocked that I got something good to say, but I'm fair. He did an exceptionally job. I'm very pleased. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Council.
If I could just say, so with respect to the resident council elections, the city council placed in the DC code, applicable to the housing authority, a restriction that says that if you've been on our board for more than 9 years, you cannot be on our board any longer. So that applies to all of our board members, including our elected resident board members. So it applies to
But it's
Oh,
DC. It's
right,
not-
it's DC code. It's not the 24 CFR, Mr. Council. So it applies to, the resident election, but it also applies to all of our, other non-elected board members as well. So that is the source of that restriction. It is not something that I came up with or that Hammer came up with or that anyone in this room, is sort of arbitrarily placing in the election procedures. So I did want to say that, but then the second piece is, I think at the last board meeting, we provided the contact information for our interim auditor. I don't know if you've reached out to him, but you are welcome to do so if you want to meet with him. As of the last meeting, he had not received any outreach from you, and he's in the room now. I'm looking over at him, Randy. I don't know if you've received any more outreach, but okay.
Can we all know Kenneth Council's information? Right? Can you also proactively reach out to him and get specifics and details. Just so we are also doing our part to say, we've reached out, we didn't get the specifics, like, because Mr. Council, like, we do, like, I'm not sure what else we can do to facilitate and support a better understanding of the nefarious activities that you are alleging. But at some point, please do that due diligence. At some point, Mr. Council, you stop being a reliable source of testimony here. And so we are taking you seriously. We want to take you seriously. But you need to help us with that.
So are you telling me what I'm saying I need to give you proof, or you saying what I'm saying is a lie?
No, we're saying we need specifics, Mr. Council. You are talking in very general terms, and we are trying to connect you with the person that is going to get the specifics and look into the cases that you are saying are nefarious.
Gladly, gladly.
Perfect.
Okay, so we'll have Randy reach out to you, Mr. Council. Okay, thank you.
Next, we have Patricia Malloy.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, Ms. Malloy, we can hear you.
Good afternoon, Star Board. My name is Patricia Malloy. Today, I'm here to speak on a little about trust. When Director Pettigrew became director, residents had a little more trust in the agency. Now he has resigned to go to the Chicago Housing Authority. Now I feel that we have to start all over again. We have been let down so many times by various directors. A 3-year recovery plan was put in place. Was this only a smokescreen? Commissioners, DCHA residents and voucher holders should have a say-so and give input on selecting the next DCHA director. DCHA Star Board, this is our lives you are playing with. Do you really care about making living conditions better for public housing and voucher recipients? Chairman Skinner, you sent out an email on Facebook saying the Board of Commissioners will schedule a special meeting in the coming days to review both short and long term for the agency leadership. Did that happen? Right now, the faith among a lot of residents, which we do have meetings with Empower DC and other organizations, the residents have no trust in the Star Board. I would like to thank Director Shaw for assisting and facilitating our voucher holder meetings with Empower DC. And I would also like to thank Carolyn Punter. She's amazing. Continue to do what you are doing. I really appreciate you. And the residents of Lincoln Heights appreciate you as well. Lincoln Heights is one of the 9 properties that's scheduled to be redeveloped or whatever. But right now, I have no faith that that's going to happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Malloy. Let me just say a couple of things. First of all, with regard to the special meeting you referenced, that meeting was canceled. And the purpose of the meeting, as indicated in the resolution, was to talk about the next steps to replace Director Pettigrew, who, as you mentioned, is now leaving. So that meeting did not happen, but we will take that up at today's meeting, the issue of an interim replacement for Director Pettigrew. Secondly, I think even though Director Pettigrew is leaving, as you know, our deputy, who you heard from earlier, Nicole Wycliffe, has been with the agency since Director Pettigrew came, and he hired her as deputy. So she's been here for 2.5 years and has been intricately involved in all of the work that has been done over that time. So I don't have any concerns about continuity and our ability to continue moving forward. We've made a lot of progress over these last 2.5 years, and I think we will certainly continue to do that.
Okay. Next, I understand that we have Teresa Johnson is online. We're sending you a promotion request. Please accept and *6 to unmute so you can begin your testimony.
Oh, yes. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You have 3 minutes, Ms. Johnson.
All right, thank you. I apologize for being late coming in. I mean, on my system and I just couldn't get online, but I am here now. My name is Teresa Johnson. I am a resident of the Kenilworth Parkside DC Housing Authority. Project. I just wanted to come on board. I have been waiting since February of 2024. Almost just going the second year for them to come in and do repairs on my home so that I can have major surgery, which is the upper and lower surgery from my neck down to my spine. And they were promised to put me into a hotel, come in and do the repair. February 2024, that went into June when they came, 25. They never came. As of this time, the present time, nothing has been done. I was just no distance concerning my surgery. I have to keep postponing it. I have peroneal nerve damages. I have to keep going up and down the steps. I'm on nerve medication, pain medication. Also, I have cardiac asthma. And as far as them coming in, doing my floors, I have floors that are sinking right there, sinking in, and then they started putting rails and adjustments and everything. So after my surgery, I had postponed the surgery numerous times, and my doctor, they're very upset. They've sent them medical documentation and told them how detrimental this is for me to have this surgery because I'm bedridden for maybe a month or maybe even weeks or so. Well, they were even cited by department, was that the building inspection? They came out and they just did only a few. The young lady came out, inspected. I had some rain that came in, water that damaged the ceilings in my laundry room. Water flooded down from my bathroom down to the laundry room. Then on February the 6th of this year, I think was the 9th, water, after the snow, water damaged my bedroom, in the master bedroom, water just big old puddles. But that floor there was already having problems with the wood that they put down in 2018, which I've been complaining about. So here and now, I'm still sitting here waiting on repairs, trying to get my surgery. They come in, they told me they would take up the floors, they would put in rails, everything in February. In 2 weeks. 2 weeks has come in almost 2 years now. I've been sitting and waiting. Then I had a legal counsel for the elderly come in, and I thought they would assist me. They did more damage, which was nothing. I didn't get any results from them. So the only thing I got from them, and maybe it was a housing choice voucher, still haven't done anything as far as the repairs. They actually said they were more or less like defending housing instead of helping me with my medical situation to get my surgery. So as of today, I still don't have a surgery. I can put my surgery off now. Not give me an appointment. I haven't had my medication in months and months. And I'm just, like I said, be bedridden for some days. And I'm capacitated and I'm unable to do my chores and everything. They were excited. They came in saying they were going to do work on one floor.
So
they had like 3 strips of wood. And it didn't work. So I just need assistance with them coming in. Never...
We will have someone follow up with you directly in the next couple of days.
Yep.
From the property management section, and we will be sure to follow up and make sure somebody talks to you to find out exactly what's going on.
Yep. Okay, and I'm also going to go back to Aquarius Van Gossery. Aquarius Van Gossary. Okay, I'm gonna move forward. Linda Brown.
This is Sarah.
Uh-oh.
Wait a minute, we're doing something important. Wait a minute, start name.
Okay, that's Aquarius. Let's go back to Aquarius Van Gossary. I'm sorry. No, her voice. Aquarius Van Gossary.
Okay. Now, first and foremost, I am a former commissioner of 17 years being elected. I've asked every director, including you, Chairman Skinner, I am to be announced former Commissioner Von Gossary. Penn Council is to be former Commissioner Penn Council. That's respect. Now, when I go up the hill, up here on top of the hill, they're not calling those past senators and congressionals. So it started with you all. So I want you to understand that. A lot of times I don't even come on because I done said I am to be called former Commissioner Von Gossary. Now, from there, let me say this because I'm out in the public talking. It's an insult to me when you are still acting like we're in Russia and we're behind bars. Bring your board meeting back to the community. Atomic Gardens, Starter Tourist, 203. Anytime the city council did it during COVID, when COVID was over with, it's open to the public. I am the commission that signed off for you to be in the building in Southwest, and it was understood if David Gilmore, the receiver, had a good plan, and if the resident councils who want to be famous and get $200 and some food, now we got to stop that. And then you get leaders, they're not getting trained right, because Ken Council, former Commissioner Council, Commissioner Watson, Commissioner Von Gossary, Commissioner Geneva Barr, we're living. It's an insult that none of y'all calls us to be doing a workshop to tell you what was wrong and what was right. It's an insult. And I take my own money. I just came back from Morocco. And when I saw how those people acting in Morocco, I was astonished in comparison to here. Now, you all want to talk about Keith Pettigrew? Y'all need to stop. One thing I say about Director Pettigrew, every resident council president, he gave all of y'all what y'all wanted. All of y'all. That go for Misha Pettaway, for me coming out of Potomac Gardens. I can't say nothing about Lincoln Heights, Pat Malloy, but and I'm going to give her propers, Commissioner Malloy, because she was an ANC commissioner, and it started with us and how we announce each other. And I mean it. Because I will go to the press and tell the press how y'all treat us. Now, first of all, who's going to be and don't nobody tell me how many minutes I got. Now, first of all, this is how it's going to go. Nicole, congratulations. Do not make the mistake that we made in the past. The moment they make you the interim director, the first thing you do is you meet with your former leaders. The ANCs that was the former leaders that ran these properties, and their properties are model. And it's an insult to me when you say, I brought a $1 million grant to Potomac Gardens. And I got rid of it because I told Ms. Jones, if you get this grant and you get these properties, you're not shine high. You're going to hire residents. And when she couldn't hire residents, I got rid of it because I can't be bought with a piece of food. And I'm tired of hearing your leadership saying, I. It's a we. And first of all, the history of the resident service resident initiative started with we. We, the old leadership, wanted the committee. It was a special committee, and it was under my leadership. Nobody know nothing. Because you know what y'all refuse to do? Put the truth on YouTube. Now you know how we are. The Star Board, I'm going to say what I say about y'all. Y'all have done what you was mandated to do, and you've done a good job. Because y'all have a mission. That mission is you all are appointed by the mayor. And when you are an appointee, you follow that mission and you give advice. And y'all have done a good job. So I'm be throwing stones at a Star Board that been a Star Board this long. You ain't outside protesting. And I mean it. Now, educate us and educate us right. It started with 18-year-olds with these providers on site. And stop playing games. One minute you like somebody because they doing what you want them to do, and the next they don't. I've been targeted ever since I've been on that board. And I'm finished. Thank you very much. And I mean it I want to say this too. It's an insult that, number one, nobody encouraged a full resident council because your presidents refused to appoint. That's number one. And I've never, ever in the history of my 17 years that I've been on the board, it's only been 3 years I have not been on the board. This is the first time I ever saw. I've done polled all the public houses. We don't even have resident councils. So come on, y'all. Let's all of us do a better job. And
Thank
stop,
you.
stop. Thank you.
Thank you, former
you.
Commissioner Van Gosri.
Next, I'm going back to Linda Brown. Linda Brown. Okay, I'm going to move forward. Janice Brooks. Janice Brooks, we see you. We are sending you a promotion request. Please accept and *6 to unmute yourself so you can begin your testimony.
Good afternoon. This is Janice Brooks with Capital Gateway Senior Residence. I am very happy to be able to give a brief testimony. I've heard many good remarks about Mr. Pettigrew, and I'm sorry that I have not had the opportunity to meet him as a tenant association representative here at Capital Gateway. But my major concern now and going forward is that you all find someone and have someone and hopefully the present deputy, will be able to stay for the long term and show compassion, get the DC Housing Authority and management team, get them organized with their files. We've had a major issue here at Capital Gateway. I have a 94-year-old mom that lives in this building who has been living here quite a while. She's still in her good mind, very organized woman. And she was paying her rent on a regular basis. Her rent increased back in 2024. However, she was not notified until 2025. And then once she was notified that her rent went up, she did pay the new amount. But however, a few months later, she received a notice saying that she owed over $1,600 in back rent. And that became an unnecessary stress on my 94-year-old mom. So we worked on that. We sent proper emails, paper trails. With that, the issue to me came in because DC Housing and the management on staff here, E&G Management, the communication with the clients, the residents, and the tenants here in the building is not good. And so I think you all need, from the top down, to work on better filing system with DC Housing, between DC Housing and the management. That would cut down on the stress, not just with 94-year-olds, but the majority of the seniors here in this building. Thank you so much. Keep up the good work, and God bless each of you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Detrice Belt. Detrice Belt. Okay, I'm going to move forward. Next, we have Karen Settles. Ms. Settles, we're sending you a promotion request. Please accept and *6 to unmute to begin your 3-minute testimony.
Hello?
Can hear you now.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to start off by thanking Keith Pettigrew for the time he spent here and the efforts that he made to make us better. And one of those efforts that I'm very proud to speak about is his recognition of the necessity for public housing communities to be in a healing mode. He actually sponsored the DC Housing Authority through the DC Housing Authority a series of healing, I would say, celebrations for residents all over the city in public housing. Well, as much as they could in public housing, and that made a big difference because it's a lot of healing that has to go on, and it still remains, and we still have to keep it going. But I wanted to say that, and I also want to thank Ms. Nicole. I want to thank Denise Blackston. I want to thank Mr. Council. I want to thank all of you for the hard work that I know you all do. But I want to also bring to your attention that we are in the same gray area that we started with in 1995 with the receivership. Make no mistake, not a board of commissions and not a star board particularly has made a difference. You all may see a difference, but the residents of public housing has seen more deterioration than ever. Promises and deterioration and misinformation. I say this in this spirit because the truth is that transparency for us is life for public housing residents. The very formation of the Star Board was a deception to the residents of public housing because of our lack of input. We have a commissioner who is a resident commissioner who sat on that board. And the way that she reaches her constituency has had to be created by herself. She's done a good job with the block by block, but it needs to be broader. We are outnumbered with votes. Any advocacy on the board itself does not allow residents to have any say. And I'm going to stop right here to say one thing. As an elected, almost 30-year commissioner, ANC commissioner for my community and beyond, has given me the opportunity to know how far a neighborhood goes and what a community means. We need to be able to share those things and be honored for that work. That work never would be in vain to me. But I want to remind all of you, you could be, but for the grace of God, you could be where we are. And how would you like not to know what's going on? I have, you all were kind enough to make sure that I got the bylaws for the Star Board. But beyond that, there is no sense that's made of because you don't have resident input. We are the recipients of whatever decisions you make. That has to be honored first. And I say to you, the Star Board got me really confused. Rules been changed. We don't know whether they've been changed in a closed session or open session. Well, I know it wasn't in no open session because I would have knowledge of it. But what all of these things as we go along, I also want to congratulate Nicole, particularly because she's kept up with the flow. So we won't be starting from the beginning. But she's taken on a monster. Make no mistake. This is a monster because nobody is admitting that we are not moving that thermometer anywhere. We're not, because you're not coming to the ground. You can't avoid it. Being on these properties and seeing how the suffering is going on, and not only that, but having a vision for us beyond our own vision. You all have a typical responsibility. You can't represent people that you're not amongst. We don't have enough residents on the board, and then you all come up with some 9-year plan. I don't know who concocted it. It makes absolutely no sense. Residents need to have it removed immediately, and we need to recognize that the federal laws in 964 override local laws when they are not in the spirit and in the interest of the people. 964 means a lot. I think I'm recommending you all study it a little better. Study it a little better so that you can come to some common ground with residents. Resident leadership is not paid attention to. These people who are putting all this effort in, we don't need to have a bucket with a hole in it. We need to be able to work productively together, whether we agree or not. But we need to see some movement. And right now, we at the point with the leaving of a director who had the greatest of intentions to do a good job. He still took on a monster. And now he's leaving, and we still in the same place we was in when he came here. Only 2 years? Really? 2 years. That says nothing for the starboard. If Keith Pettigrew failed, so did the starboard that was supposed to be put in place to make it better. You have not made it better. You still at that table doing boardroom decisions. And I want you all to be accountable for it. Residents are still being evicted. This is suffering in its first degree. We might as well be in a third world country. Please, please consider what I'm saying and come on the ground and be with us and understand it ain't just the conditions, it's also the condition and the mindset of our people. I don't like people talking about mental health, but what choice do we have but to have some issues like that? What choice? The threat of eviction is worse than being homeless or without homes. Please, boy, hear me.
Thank
And I
you.
thank you.
Do hear you. Thank you so much.
Next, we have Donna Towns. Donna Towns, we just sent you a promotion request. Please accept and *6 to unmute so we can hear your 3-minute testimony.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Hi, Ms. Downs.
Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing today? Hello, everyone. My
Hello.
name is Hey, my name is Donna Towns, and I know you all know who I am because I have been testifying numerous times on these Board of Commissioners meetings. I'm very disappointed in the fact that Director Pettigrew is leaving the agency. And I say that to say because although I have been on these meetings many times, well before he became DCHA director, I wasn't heard. But he heard. I had an initial meeting with him, and I also had a follow-up meeting with his staff. And I felt the meeting went well, but I was so emotional. I was just very much emotional for all I've gone through, which is the disposal of my property. In order for persons to remove, and this is during the time period of letter payment, but in order for persons to remove persons' property and dispose of them, is if they abandoned their property. I didn't do that. On May 30th, 2019, I signed this lease. I was promised my property was going to go upstairs. Half was going to go upstairs, half was going to stay downstairs so that the repairs could be the mold repairs, the kitchen sink repair. All of those things can be fixed, and I trusted this housing manager to do what she said. But instead, she had me removed from the property, claiming I was about to commit suicide. I know y'all have heard this a million times, but I'm just saying, who does that? My tenant obligations were met. I was recertified. I paid my rent. I was open my doors up to maintenance to come and do everything. But for the late abatement, the killer is that they didn't do any late abatement in my apartment during the time period of June to the following June 1st. June 1st was the last time I was in that apartment. It was nothing in there. They disposed of everything. It was a little bit of some, but not really very much. But for that period of time following the week after that, that's when they were supposed to do the lead abatement in my apartment, to paint the walls, do whatever they do in lead abatement. Lead abatement is the lessening, the removal of the lead. But instead, guess what happened? Although my rent was paid, I was recertified, I've done all my tenant obligations, employee obligations were not met. She didn't do this department manager, Miss Betty Diallo, did not do her job. But what she did was, wait a minute, I'm going to finish. What she did was have my property disposed of over the balcony. Who does that? That was that was an abatement of my personal property in which I paid my rent for security and to place to lay my head at night, in the safety, in the protection of my unit. I'm disappointed, and I look forward to hearing from someone in the near future before Director Pettigrew has departed the agency. But I've said this a million times. It's like I'm not being heard. I'm not being heard. I'm not being heard. But I'm not being heard. But I'm going to be heard, and I think you hear me.
Townsend, I understand that you recently met with the staff, and
And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for that.
So we will continue to meet with you, but we may not be able to do everything that you want. So you have to understand that.
All right. So next, we're going to move on to Angela Martin. Angela Martin. Okay, we're going to move on to our non-resident public testimony. First, we have Aisha Hudson. Ms. Hudson, we see that you're on. We're sending your promotion request. Please accept *6 to unmute yourself so you can begin your 3-minute testimony.
Good afternoon, commissioners, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Aisha Hudson, owner and property manager of 4540 Benning Road Southeast, a 13-unit moderate rehab building in Ward 7. I'm here today with tenants and with written letters from residents who are deeply concerned about their safety. I'm requesting your support in approving our right to house a police officer on site as expressly permitted under HUD's Moderate Rehabilitation Guidelines 24 CFR Section 5.661. This regulation clearly allows owners to house resident managers, maintenance personnel, and security staff, including police officers, when it is necessary for the safe and effective operation of the property. This is not an unusual request. In fact, a police officer lived on site for nearly the entire 30 plus years the previous owner managed the building with DCHA's full knowledge and approval. Yet today, despite higher crime, greater resident fear, and a clear HUD authorization, DC Housing Authority has refused our request, citing only a programmatic decision. As a longtime housing provider for over 26 years, we have renewed our commitment to affordable housing when we acquired this building on May 1st, 2024, agreeing to maintain its HUD contract and keep rents at 30% or less of tenant income. That commitment limits our rental revenue and makes it financially impossible to fund private security. The on-site officer is the only viable HUD-approved safety tool available to us. Let me explain why this request is necessary. Since acquiring the building, we have installed a new access control and security camera system, enrolled in the MPD private security camera program, as well as requested special attention. MPD has contacted us multiple times about incidents at or near the property. Since May 1st, 2024, they have responded to over 40 calls for service at or immediately around the building, with at least of those calls being priority 1 or priority 2, and 5 involved or mentioned a firearm. The MPD also recovered a gun on the property that has been used in a crime. Inside the building, residents continue to experience excessive foot traffic, illegal drug use in the hallways, and loitering. These conditions undermine resident safety and quality of life. We have reported these concerns to DC Housing Authority through emails, crime updates, and a formal written request for permission to house a police officer on site. DCHA has acknowledged our safety issues, but has taken no action to approve our request. This lack of response is not just frustrating, it hinders our ability to manage the property, protect tenants, and preserve the building as a stable, affordable asset. What should be an attractive community anchor property is at risk of becoming a neighborhood blight because residents do not feel safe. Commissioners, DC Housing Authority has a lawful HUD authorized tool at its disposal to deter crime and stabilize this building. The agency used the tool for decades under the previous owner. It is unfair and harmful for residents that DC Housing Authority now chooses not to use it. I'm appealing to you today for the approval of under 24 CFR section 5.661. I'm appealing to you all to approve our request. Our residents deserve safety. Our operations deserve clarity, and the district deserves consistent, transparent enforcement of DC Housing Authority's own policies and practices. Thank you for your time and attention today.
Ms. Hudson, okay, this is the first that I'm sure the board is hearing about this. So I don't know if who on our staff you've talked to, but we'll have staff follow up with you and get all the facts and see what we can do in terms of your situation.
Next, we have William Jordan.
Good afternoon. I hope everybody's doing well. My name's William Jordan. I want to first thank Shante High for allowing me to work with her and her resident council over the years. I wanted to address a few things, particularly with Director Pettigrew leaving. When Mr. Pettigrew arrived, I came to the board and I asked that we use the opportunity to really make this a resident-focused agency, that we focus our energy on resident involvement, infrastructure, equity, and all of those things. I suggested that because we had just been through a series of changes at the board director level. That constant turnover made it almost impossible for the resident council at Park Morton to be legitimate partners and to work in their redevelopment process. So we came up and made suggestions that this occur. We were told, wait, be patient. We're going to work on reforming this board, give us some time, blah, blah, blah. And as soon as we get your feet, boom, transition again. You didn't hear, you didn't learn the lesson. So I'm coming back and I'm going to say it one more time. Use this opportunity to make this where residents are full equity partners. That means resident councils in place at all the properties, budgets, that residents have the power to participate in their own redevelopment process, that we move away from what I call bricks, sticks, and chattel, where we're just moving things around, to partnerships, real solid partnerships where residents have responsibilities for their own lives and moving forward. And the reason we look at it this way, I'm going to give a few examples. In working with Ms. High, one of the projects in the area was the Hebrew Home Project. And we looked at that project as a Bill First site alternative because of all the things that were happening with development. But guess what happened? We found out that many residents who had vouchers who went to the project, that project had 2-bedroom units that could not pass a voucher inspection. So we had a project that was totally subsidized by the city, building units that couldn't pass a voucher inspection. You heard the woman, the lady talking about Park Morton, the lead abatement. It wasn't a lead abatement. It was interim controls that were only supposed to last 1 year, and residents stayed on that property 2 years longer. So there's a lot of details, there's a lot that we've learned, there's a lot that we know, there's a lot that residents know, but you refuse to tap it. And then we repeat this expert top-down approach. Please do not do that moving forward. Please use residents as full partners. And thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan.
Next, we have Daniel Del Paniego. Daniel, we sent you a promotion request.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Daniel Del Piologo. I work with Empower DC. I wanted to share, Ms. Malloy alluded to it, but we did have a conversation regarding the departure of Mr. Pettigrew. I did want to share that in June of this past year, I received a call from a colleague in Chicago who was inquiring about who Keith Pettigrew was and how he was as the director of the DC Housing Authority. And I was intrigued as to why they were asking that question, because at the time we had not heard anything about Mr. Pettigrew's plans to leave. I didn't have like 100% proof that this was something that was actually happening, that he was vying for that position. So I kept that under my hat. But come to find out, it was true. So I'm very concerned that for over close to a year, Mr. Pettigrew was planning to leave and had not shared any of those plans with the board, his staff, and most importantly, the tenants that he said he was going to help out by improving the agency. I guess that is something of the past now, so we will leave it alone. And of course, as public housing residents have done for many a cycle now, have to move ahead. I think what we heard at a recent meeting with public housing leaders is that we want to ensure that a new director is tied to at least a 4-year contract, that we want to make sure that any plans that they have to leave, apply somewhere else, or just, abandon their position is communicated in a timely manner to this board and to the staff, and then to the clients of the DC Housing Authority, because they are owed that. And it causes so much stress when this type of change happens. Not lastly, because we probably have some more thoughts, but I think it will be very important for the citywide advisory board and resident council leaders and tenants in general to be involved, at least in vetting any new folks who are being considered for the director position. And we'd like to see something written. Any new director should write an essay of sorts as to why they want to serve here and what they can provide, and have that shared with tenants or clients rather of DCHA. Thank you for your time. I look forward to talking next month.
Okay, thank you, Danny.
Next, we have Rebecca Adekasi. Hopefully I'm saying your last name correctly. Rebecca Adekasi. I'm sending you a promotion request. Please accept. *6 to unmute yourself and begin your 3-minute testimony. Rebecca Adekasi. Okay, Chairman, that concludes today's testimony.
Okay, again, I want to thank all of those who took the time to provide testimony today. There are several of you that we need to follow up on, and the staff will follow up with you on those issues. So moving on to the agenda, next is Resolution 2608, which is to appoint interim executive director of the DC Housing Authority. And this is to appoint Nicole Wycliffe, who's currently the deputy, as the interim executive director for DCHA. You've heard from her earlier today. You've heard a little bit about her from some of the people providing testimony. But let me say that Nicole, again, has been with us since Keith came, 2.5 years. She's been intricately involved in all of the things that we've done over that time frame. The 3-year recovery plan, of course, she was, again, very much involved in framing that, in actually leading the staff through putting in the various goals and objectives, and then holding the staff accountable for meeting those objectives. And you saw recently in the 2-year, I guess, the 2-year recitation of that plan, all of the progress that has been made over that time period. But Nicole is an experienced housing authority executive. She is committed. She's dedicated. She has, I think, everything that we need to continue the momentum that we've gotten so far. And I think Nicole will do an excellent job in the interim and possibly even in the long term. So I just want to put on the record that I am supportive of Nicole becoming the interim executive director. And I think, again, she has all of the qualities that we need. And I firmly believe that she is the best person to lead us forward, at least in the short term and possibly even in the long term. So with that, I'm just going to give an opportunity for other commissioners to say a little bit.
I'm assuming you'll start in the room? And,
Yes,
okay.
and then we can go online.
And then we can go online because I see Commissioner Reed also has her hand up. Yes. I'm very excited and pleased that Nicole is willing to serve as interim. I'm very appreciative of all of the work. And it feels awkward to talk about you in the third person while you were right here. But I am deeply, deeply grateful for your role on the team thus far. I was always really impressed with both the level of detail and understanding that you have of the operations. And, you know, I get an opportunity to participate in several committees, and so I can see that a little bit of like the breadth of knowledge that you have. So I'm always so impressed that you are navigating all of that information at the depth that you are navigating that information. And I really appreciate how you are able to pull up and help us critically engage at the highest level so that we're not in the day-to-day of operations, but can instead be focused on supporting and guiding the ship. So I'm really pleased. I have other aspirations for you as well. So this was a wonderful first start. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Reed.
Thank you. I just also wanted to express my support for Nicole today, and also thank you so much for stepping up in this interim role. As the chair and Commissioner Silla have said, we've gotten the chance to work with you for many years now. You're in everything. You're very knowledgeable about all the operations and systems in the agency. You know the residents. You know DC. And so we're just very thrilled to have you step into this role, and we look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Commissioner Murphy.
I just wanted to say I wish we had more time today to sing your praises even more, Nicole. So I will just very briefly say how lucky we are to have you, and I'm so grateful that you're stepping into this role. We're going to be in good hands. Thank you.
Commissioner Blackson.
I too want to express my gratitude for having you here, Nicole. You're very informative, very knowledgeable, and I've had the pleasure of being on several committees with you, as well as in meetings with residents and different events that you've attended, and I think you would be great for the job.
Okay, Commissioner Dickerson.
Yes, I want to, I don't know, second or third or fifth or sixth or 10th, is that those emotions and motions. And I have, we know that Nicole has been, she's the one behind the scenes often who make things happen. And people come with all kinds of problems, all kinds of issues, and she's very, very good. And I just think we've been extremely blessed to have her here, and I hope that we can keep her on as well. So I want to just give her my support, and I just want to vote yes to in a deep way for her continuing here and taking this role on for us at this critical point. So I think we're very fortunate to have her at this moment.
Any other commissioners? Commissioner Clay.
I'll just echo what everyone else says. I can't help it. I have to. What comes to mind is a scripture in the book of Esther when Mordecai, who's her uncle, says, "Who knows whether or not you're here for such a time as this?" And when I hear about everything that's happening, I do have this feeling that you're the perfect person for this time and for this moment, given the challenges that are here. We've seen how you have taken a deep dive into issues and sought to address every issue with the utmost knowledge and professionalism. And I think that's what we need. And so really happy to have you in this role at this time.
Okay, with
Commissioner Burbridge, I have something to say. Nicole, the scripture says, "My people perish for lack of knowledge." Thank you, because now we know the suffering will end. I appreciate everything you do, you're going to do, and you have done.
Thank you. So with that, I'm going to ask for resolution 2608 to appoint Nicole Whitcliffe as the interim executive director of DCHA.
Motion.
Second,
Second.
Second.
any further discussion? Hearing none, take a roll call vote.
Sure. Commissioner Denise Blackson.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Chris Murphy.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Rosa Burbridge.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Jennifer Reed.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Teresa Silla.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Jim Dickerson.
Yes.
Thank you. And Chairman Skinner.
Yes,
The resolution is approved.
congratulations. We absolutely look forward to continuing, well, I'm gonna say to working with you, continuing to work with you, because we have been working with you these last 2.5 years. Okay. All right, moving on. Then we're going to move to committee reports and start with the Committee on Operations and Administrative Services.
And if I'm recalling correctly, it's resolutions first and then everything else that we did on the committee. Okay, because we do a lot.
I know you
We
do.
stay busy. All right, I believe the first resolution is the resolution on Nick's.
This is for Nick's development, and this is to I guess amend the existing agreement and add more money to Nick's development, and they do the relocation planning and move management services, and they're going to be working on the bond projects.
Yes, they are. And I'm assuming Jean is going to be presenting.
Yes, I am here. Good afternoon, Commissioners and Board of Directors. Presenting to you Resolution 2609 to authorize the increase of a cooperative agreement with Nick's Development for relocation planning and move management services. Just to summarize, the purpose of the resolution is to authorize the Executive Director to approve a contract modification to increase contract capacity for the contract with Nick's Development and for the continuation of relocation planning and move management services by $240,000, subject to the availability of funding as well. So I will open the floor up to Carolyn Punter if she would like to provide some more additional information around the background, or if the board has any questions.
I think Carolyn is good.
Carolyn?
She's good, right? Or did you want to?
So Nick's Development is already on board and doing work. So how are they doing? What have they been doing, and how are they doing?
So Carolyn Punter, Senior Vice President for Property Management Operations. We've been working with Nick's. I've been working with them since I've been here for almost a year. They're effective and efficient as it relates to the moves that we have for emergencies, reasonable accommodations, and so forth. So they will schedule the move, make sure packing materials are delivered, and then ensure that there's a smooth transition from one unit to another.
So as part of our committee discussions, we did talk about the quality of their services. And one of the things that was really helpful to us to recognize is that Jean and her team have a system that's already in place for capturing feedback about contractors and whether or not they're doing a good job, both in real time as they are implementing projects, as well as when there's a specific solicitation. So we were also reassured of the quality of the services that they are likely to provide. I think there was pricing details that we had asked follow-up questions around, and I'm very pleased about the level of detail and response that we got from the team to help us feel comfortable that the work is, what is it, cost reasonable?
Yes, cost reasonableness.
Cost reasonable. So Jean reassured us that there is an analysis that the team does, that the DC Housing Authority team does, and we had requested for additional details around that. So thank you to the team for pulling all of that together and for communicating that in time for what I hope will be just a simple approval of this resolution.
You're welcome.
Okay, so hearing that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the resolution 2609 to increase the amount of the cooperative agreement with Nick's Development.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a roll call vote.
Sure. Jim Dickerson. You're muted, Commissioner.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. Jennifer Reed,
Yes.
thank you. Denise Blackson,
Yes.
thank you. Teresa Silla,
Yes.
thank you. Chris Murphy,
Yes.
thank you. Rosa Burbridge,
Yes.
thank you. And Chairman Skinner.
Yes.
The resolution is approved.
Perfect.
Okay. So, thank you.
We have
So,
another resolution.
We have, first of all, Resolution 2610, which was to authorize a contract for Microsoft Office, is going to be tabled, and we'll bring that back next month. So then we can move to Resolution 2611 to authorize execution of a contract for landlord-tenant legal services.
This again is out of Jean's shop, so I'm assuming she will be presenting. I think the main question that we were asking from the committee's perspective was, why is this not an in-house function? And again, reassurances that the scope of work and that the pricing is appropriate. We were very pleased with the responses. DC law is complicated around and requires specialty knowledge relative to landlord-tenant supports. And then again, that question about like whether they're providing quality services was asked and discussed. And we also reviewed their pricing information. So Jean?
Thank you, Commissioner Silla. Resolution 26-11 to authorize the execution of a contract for landlord-tenant legal services. The purpose of this resolution is to authorize the executive director to enter into a contract with Mussolini and Dessel for landlord-tenant legal services for a 1-year base term with 4 one-year option periods for a potential total term of 5 years and the annual amount not to exceed $500,000. Again, subject to the availability of funding and active DC Council approval. I will turn this over to Amy to provide any specifics or to the board for any more details that may be required.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to answer any questions about, about legal counsel. I mean, we find that, we do use the landlord tenant council for our public housing sites, as well as anything else that is managed by PMO. They handle lease terminations and we handle about 100, probably 100 cases a month, or evaluate 100 cases a month. They're not always terminating 100.
So Commissioner Murphy has a question.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was just going to ask, who has been handling this work up until now? I was just sort of looking for a little bit of context.
Same contractor. They have been a contractor with us for some time.
Oh, I see. Okay, good. So they're a known commodity and they're delivering high quality services to us.
We've been happy with their services.
Great, terrific. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions, discussion? Hearing none, Chair will entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2611 to authorize execution of a contract for landlord-tenant legal services.
Motion.
This is second. Second.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a roll call vote on Resolution 2611.
Denise Blackson,
Yes.
thank you. Jim Dickerson,
Yes.
thank you. Rosa Burbridge,
Yes.
thank you. Chris Murphy,
Yes.
thank you. Jennifer Reed,
She had to drop off.
Jennifer Reed. Okay. Teresa Silla,
Yes.
thank you. Chairman Skinner,
Yes.
thank you. The resolution's approved.
Okay, thank you. Priscilla, can you continue with your committee report?
So other updates and other discussion items that we talk through. We are, especially because of the resolution on relocation, we did check in to better understand the IRB demographics and what we can expect in terms of relocation. Of course, always top on my mind is, do we have enough units to accommodate the relocation effort? And the team
asked me to hold my horses because the relocation contract support is to determine exactly that. So we will have a couple, probably a month or two before we have significant updates on that front. So excited to see though that there is progress in that activity. The other items that we looked at were timely HAP payments. This was in response to concerns that have been flagged to Councilmember Robert White, and it came up as part of the public hearing that Commissioner Murphy and myself attended. And so we were pleased to hear that this is not a regular problem or issue, and that it is very specific to properties that are turning over between the third-party properties that are turning over from one property manager to the next, where they might not be appropriately communicating that that turnover needs to be notified to the housing authority. And so, we're following up with the team to make sure we understand the scope of that, how often that kind of stuff happens, but we think it's not quite the challenge that it was put, that it came across as at the public hearings. Otherwise, we talked about 702 and the process for relocation. That update was shared as part of the executive director's updates. And then just rehabbing units, we are wanting to make sure units are turning over, wanting to make sure we understand how whether that'll support the homeless preference, whether that will support relocations. And so that is an ongoing conversation with the team. And it both impacts operations and administrative services as well as capital projects. So that's a part of the conversation that we're having. All right.
So any questions for the Operations Committee from other commissioners? Hearing none, we'll move on to the Capital Projects Committee. Commissioner Murphy.
Okay. Should we go ahead and start with the resolution about the line of credit?
Why don't we do that?
Okay. So this resolution should look very familiar to folks. It is very similar to a resolution that we adopted just last month. It authorizes a significant $70 million line of credit for the Housing Authority to draw down on to cover pre-development and related costs of at least 6 property enhancement projects. Our outside counsel reviewed the resolution and asked us to adopt it again with some pretty modest tweaks, and I can just highlight for you what those are. They include just a clarification about our legal authority to create the line, extending the term of the line of credit from 2 to 3 years, and a modest change to the closing fee. So just as a reminder, when we talked about this last month, it was made clear that the line will be paid back by funds generated by the projects themselves. So either things like that, the financial closing of the project or other income generating mechanisms. So we are drawing down money to spend money in order to get money back to pay down the line of credit. So one thing that we've had conversations with in the Capital Projects Committee is we have asked the team to make sure that on a monthly basis, they update us on how the funds are being drawn down, what projects they're being dedicated to, progress on those projects, and the timeline to pay down the line of credit. So this is something that I know the staff is watching very closely, but we as a board also want to make sure we're watching it very closely, just so we ensure that the funds are there to pay down the line. I was going to just ask real quick, David, I can't see if David Cordial is in the room, but if he or someone could just share the initial 6 projects that the line is sort of initially focused on. I just want to make sure folks knew which of the 6 projects this was going to fund initially, and then we'll see if it can support others.
Yep, I can answer that not here, Chris, but John.
Oh, John is there. John's there. Terrific.
So it's the 5 Melville properties, 400M, and essentially some of the 9 RB.
Okay, so we're already at more than 6.
No, this is not the 9 IRBs. No?
Yeah, so
for the line of credit.
The line of credit, sorry, because we have the other line of credit.
Yeah. Just to be clear,
This is a bigger line of credit.
100M and the 5 Melville are the first initial ones that we have targeted, but that makes
Okay.
sense.
So, and maybe Amy, I'm not sure. This says this is an updated resolution, so I just want to be clear. Is this a new resolution? The other one goes away, or is it updated?
It's an updated resolution, but it essentially would replace the last one. It just had some clarifications that, as Commissioner Murphy noticed, it adds some modest changes just to be a little bit more clear about what we're doing.
So, Amy, that's does this technically revoke the prior one and supersede it, or do we need to do that procedurally?
We have drafted that I believe we have some language in here that it replaces it.
Okay.
We have some it amends, restates, and replaces.
There we go. That's right. I saw that red line in the red line. That's great.
That's what I want to be clear on, right? Okay.
Yes. No, thanks for clarifying that, right?
So that we can be all on the same page. Right. But ultimately, it is still the $70 million line of credit. It's just a 3-year term instead of 2 years. And then some modest just changes to the language in the resolution are really the main changes here.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? So I'll entertain a motion to approve resolution 2612.
So moved.
The second.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, we have a roll call vote on resolution 2612.
Sure. Teresa Silla?
Yes.
Thank you. Chris Murphy?
Yes.
Thank you. Jim Dickerson?
Yes.
Thank you. Denise Blackson?
Yes.
Thank you. Jennifer Reed? I believe is left. Rosa Burbridge?
Yes.
Thank you. And Chairman Skinner?
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution's approved.
Okay, thank you. So Commissioner Murphy, any other?
Yeah, I can just give some very quick highlights of our most recent meeting. We did get an update on the IRB projects, very specifically the initial 9, and some really encouraging news that 8 of the 9 already have pre-development agreements. So, and have had kickoff meetings or are being scheduled. So good progress is being made there. We talked about resident communication and engagement in the resident engagement in the design process. And sounds like there's robust work taking place there. The advantage of doing these all together is the team talked about the systems they're building that are able to be applied to each of the projects. We hope will be meeting the needs of our residents and the agency. We also spent some time reviewing a number of low-income housing tax credit supported projects that the Housing Authority has some form of interest in, and what the timeline over the next several years will be for those to be expiring. As folks know, those are typically 15-year projects, 15-year terms. And so I really appreciate the staff kind of staying ahead of this so we don't end up behind the curve trying to solve a problem at the last minute. They're being very proactive about seeing when projects are going to be expiring in the next couple of years and what are the right projects that we need to be taking now in order to preserve the affordable aspect of the projects. We also talked a little bit about a project at 400M that we're expecting to hear more about. And we spent a little time getting an update on Greenleaf, which we're also expecting an update on in future months at future committee meetings. So a robust discussion. And then one thing I did just want to highlight, it occurred to me after looking at the board prep materials. I've already communicated this to Sheila Miller, but I do want to ask that at our next committee meeting, we get a briefing on the capital spend portion of the board book that sort of shows each of the fiscal year funds that have been allocated by the DC Council and how we are both obligating and ultimately spending those dollars. So Sheila knows that's coming. And then, so I think it will be helpful to get that, as well as we haven't heard a little while on the urgent needs campaign, and I'm guessing the committee might want to get a little bit more detail on kind of which are the latest projects. I know we got an update in the board book about which of the projects that are kind of wrapping up, but I think it would be helpful to hear what's left and what's coming next and what the funding is looking like sort of a little bit more holistically. So thanks in advance to the team. We'll be looking forward to hearing from you next month. That is all.
Thank you, Commissioner. Okay, next we're going to move to the Resident Services Committee. Commissioner Blackson.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Again.
Okay. The Resident Service Committee, the Committee on Resident Services meet 4 times a year. So one of the initiatives under the Committee on Resident Services is the Block by Block, which the last session was held on March the 19th. So since that session, the Committee on Resident Services held a special meeting to strategize on several key topics that was discussed at the Block by Block with resident leaders who are residents or bring the information and concerns from their residents to myself and DCHA staff, as well as Commissioner Silla, who's in attendance. Some of the key topics were resident engagement, the new TANF laws. Commissioner Silla was very concerned with residents learning of these new laws and seeing ways that what can we do as DCHA staff or partner with to assist with making sure residents are informed about these laws and on track. We also talked about educational partnerships, the right to return, relocation. We discussed a little bit about the resolution that was just approved, 2609, bulk outs, pest control, vouchers, funding for residents, and a different emergency maintenance calls and concerns. So those were some of the key topics that we had to discuss from Block by Block and the residents' concern. And I just want to share about the last session at the Block by Block. All of this falls under the Committee on Resident Services. We had an excellent collaboration with DCHA staff, as really good positive feedback from the resident leaders who were in attendance. They expressed their gratitude for getting that presentation from Carolyn and her team and, receiving literature that was provided from the area managers and foremen. A very pressing matter. We was glad that Siobhan Davis was able to answer that, and Deputy Director Nicole for being able to have very detailed and expert responses to the leaders' questions. And, I definitely want to thank the Office of Resident Services and their team. I know I shared some of this in the email, but Fashad Tyler, thank you for your information, resident participation funds, and Mr. Spriggs for sharing the information to the leaders on the summer youth employment and scholarship opportunities. And, finally, although we're in this together, I have to commend Commissioner Silla for her input, her support, is well received by the leaders as well as myself. And, we just had a really great meeting, and I just want everyone to know I thank them and thank the resident leaders always, because without them, there's no us, right? Thank the resident leaders and the citywide advisory board members who were in attendance. And that's my report. The next meeting, the next meeting is on April the 30th, committee meeting.
Okay, any questions for Commissioner Blackson?
Can I just reflect?
Yeah.
Just real gratitude to you, Commissioner Blackson, for leading the way in this area, helping us make sure we're connected to residents in a forum other than this one. I really appreciate meeting all of the current and former resident commissioners and really hearing what's happening. And I promised that we were going to connect the dots and make sure that what we are hearing from residents, that we will be following up in our committee meetings, and then making sure we are bringing presentations to them based on the information that the executive team is sharing with us, and that first test with the work orders went very well. And so I'm excited that we're going to be going back with an update on capital improvements and capital projects so that this relationship can be one that is strengthened from meeting to meeting. I apologize in advance that I am out of town and will not be joining the next block by block, but I'm there in spirit. So thank you, Commissioner Blackson, for leading the way.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome. I just said you're quite welcome. You probably paused.
Okay, thanks, Commissioner Blackson. Last but not least is Committee Budget and Finance and Commissioner Clay.
Sure. In our last meeting, first, we had a conversation about our presentation from the Office of Audit and Compliance. One of the areas that we discussed was related to the OFM observations and allegations and kind of where we stand. The issues that were raised, there were, prior to the meeting, 2 items that were outstanding. One of those items was closed, and that was related to the stale dated checks issue. At this point, through research, the OFM has gotten the number down to about $267,000 worth of checks that they continue to research, but they do have a plan to get through those, and so that observation was closed. But there will be a follow-up, I think, in a year from the OAC to see where that stands. The one item that remains open is related to the undistributed Davis-Bacon items. What was found was that there is, I think the initial allegation was that there was $137,000, I believe was the amount, 167. Thank you. That had been undistributed. The actual amount, I think, in the account is 66,000. There's a staff member, an OAS that knows or has documentation on where these funds are supposed to go. So they're working on taking care of that. So that would basically, I think, close out that allegation. Also, we heard from OFM regarding the status of the audit. They're currently going through the annual audit that is required through the district legislation. That audit is, today is Wednesday, to Friday is the deadline for them to submit all the documents that have been requested. As of last Friday, of the 500 documents that had been requested by the auditors, I think 48 documents remained outstanding. 500 is a lot of documents in an audit, but I will say when, based on last year's audit, the number of findings, the opinion itself, the disclaimer, generally it would be considered a high-risk audit, which means if it's a high-risk audit, we're going to audit more. And so that is, a large part why there's so many documents that have been requested. The initial deadline to submit all the documents was March 31st, but Mr. Blanda, the CFO, and I met with the IG and with the auditors to request an extension, and so they've given us to this Friday. So the team is working feverishly to make sure that they get those documents in, and hopefully we'll move the needle on the audit opinion for this year.
I'm looking at do we have an update on where we are with regard to meeting the Friday deadline?
Oh, he's not involved in that.
Yeah, we think we'll make the deadline.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
Okay. Think. Not sure.
There's a lot of items. So we're hoping that we can get everything cleared out by Friday and any major items. So they're continuously working, staff's up there now, going back and forth. And we have BDO on as well, assisting, So
with the issue with some of those is that they're continuing to try and reconcile all these items so that they can submit them to the auditors, and there's been a lot of back and forth with certain things. And I will say, I think that we found even with the auditors, there were some challenges in information that was provided and some of the feedback. So I think we've kind of moved through those issues and just trying to get it done. And that's all I have.
Is that it? Okay, any questions for Commissioner Clay? Okay, again, thank all of the commissioners. So, for the general public, again, this is a volunteer board and part-time board. So I really appreciate the time that the commissioners take to go to these meetings and to give feedback and so forth. I mean, it really is a commitment of time and energy, and I really appreciate all the work that you all do. Okay.
And I might say just same for you, Mr. Chairman. You do a lot of work, and you do a lot of things that nobody knows about, and you don't get thanked enough. Everybody wants to criticize when it's their problems, but you're doing a great job too.
So, okay. So as we mentioned last meeting was Commissioner Ronnie Harris's last meeting. And today I want to put on the record Proclamation 2601, which is to recognize and honor Ronnie Harris for exemplary service to the District of Columbia Housing Authority. The proclamation has a number of whereas clauses, which I'm not going to read, but just to kind of summarize, whereas Ronnie Harris, a native Washingtonian dedicated mother and leader, she's passionate about maintaining a safe environment for families and children. She attended the University of District of Columbia, moved through the ranks in healthcare administration. She served as Tenants Association for over 3 years. Successfully advocated for transition from low-income housing to housing choice voucher. And actually, she went from being a voucher holder through our program, and she achieved home ownership through her determination, and she serves as an inspiration for other participants who hope to reach a home ownership goal. And she was first appointed as commissioner to DCHA Board of Commissioners, and then first appointed in January 22, and then was reappointed as part of the Star Board in December of 2022. So with that, therefore, be it proclaimed that the DCHA Board of Commissioners, through adoption of this proclamation, recognizes Ronnie T. Harris for her tireless dedication to service, and to sincerely thank her for her commitment to a better quality of life for all residents of DCHA. It's adopted by the Board of Commissioners on this 8th day of April 2026, and it's signed by Raymond Skinner, Chairperson, and Keith Pettigrew, Executive Director and Secretary. Thank you. Okay, Commissioners' time. So we can go around, Commissioners. Commissioner Murphy, I see you're unmuted, so did you have?
Nope. Just, I was getting ready to enthusiastically endorse the resolution.
We don't have to vote on that.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I know it would pass unanimously.
My only comment was the same. We really missed Commissioner Harris at the last committee meeting, so I'm glad that we're able to do a proclamation to honor her service. Thank you.
Commissioner's time?
Yes.
Yeah. So just a couple of things. One, Director Wycliffe, when you when you spoke about Section 3, an idea came to mind, and I was wondering, do we have a book of businesses or anywhere that we can see like a list of all the businesses that are owned by residents? And is there a way that we can, people can get that information and also potentially share it? I think something like that long term would be helpful. Also, since our last meeting, we had our confirmation roundtables. And a couple of things that came out of that I do want to kind of share and be mindful of. One is Mr. Jordan. He testified at the roundtable, and one of the things he talked about was, board and leadership being visionary. And it's just he even raised some ideas of things that we could do, and I do want to make sure that that's something that remains front of mind, is how can we be transition to being more visionary as a board going forward. And lastly, one of the things that I raised was engaging more with some of our employees, and this is really for the board. I think it would be helpful if the board engaged with the employees. I think that we are aware and we know that there have been some challenges that have been raised by some of the employees, and I think it would be great if the board had more of a presence with the people.
So I'm glad you mentioned the word visionary, because that's one of the things that I've been thinking about, and I think I even mentioned this to Nicole when we were talking about her becoming the interim director. What I'd like to do, and part of the issue for me is just, we're kind of in this transition mode, because when we know that we'll have a couple new directors coming on, and some of us will be reappointed. So I was trying to wait till we got the full complement of new directors on board. But what I'd like to do is have kind of a board retreat where we talk about a strategic plan and look, a vision for the future. What do we want DCHA to look like in 5 years, even 10 years? What does that look like? And begin to think about and lay the plans and framework for what things we have to do to get to that vision, that future vision of what DCHA should look like. So that's on my mind, that's been on my agenda, and I'd like to move forward in that regard.
If there's an opportunity, I also, I really appreciate learning more about this vision and this opportunity for us to think about that. I appreciate your call for us to be engaging with more DC Housing Authority staff or employees. I appreciate the block by block and the opportunity, especially with the PMO team, to be able to interact with so many of the area managers, so many of the other folks that are instrumental at PMO side of the shop. And I also feel like I get those same opportunities at the Rebuilding Communities events, which one of our resident callers referenced, like the power of those events and people coming together, the presence of Dr. Love and his team, like that real focus on healing and community. And I know we have budget woes, but I'm really hopeful that we can, in some way, shape, or form, continue to pull together those events. And I want to encourage all of us as commissioners to recognize that these are opportunities where we get to talk to staff one-on-one. They come and they approach us. I've heard so many accolades as well in terms of the improvements that they are seeing, the ways in which that they feel supported by the executive team. And then, of course, there are always complaints as well that come up. So, it's just a wonderful opportunity. I wanted to amplify that as well. Yeah.
All right, one final thing. Karen Settles, who we heard from before, sent a text, and she asked me to put something on the record. And so for the record, Ms. Settles wants to thank you to Ms. Punter and Ms. Harvell for being so hardworking and caring so much for the Stoddard Terrace residents. So again, thank you, Ms. Settles, for that compliment to the staff. Okay, if there's nothing else, then the next Board of Commissioners meeting will be held on Wednesday, May 13th, 2026 at 1 p.m. via Zoom. Information regarding viewing or participating in the meeting can be found at our website, www.dchousing.org. If there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned at 3:05 p.m.
Yes, we do need timely ends. Agreed.